whatever you want to call it. But it's obviously phenomenal to be back, especially at Indianapolis. I think that the Brian Herder and Steve Newey have put together a fantastic group of guys with Brian Herder Autosport. They've got a great group of people that have worked incredibly hard. We're obviously on a partial month program, but I think, as you can see, certainly the car was competitive enough to compete for the pole. Unfortunately, we're a little bit off on that fast 9, but it's a testament to the team's effort. They, actually, we probably would have been a little bit higher up if I'd listened to Brian, but I wanted to really go for the pole, and I perhaps trimmed the car out a little bit too much. But it's been a great day. I think everybody in the team should be incredibly proud. I think William Rast will be proud of us. But it's fantastic because we have a collaboration with Sam Schmidt Motorsport and for Alex Taglioni to get the pole. Excuse me, it goes to show that it's really been a good program, and obviously Townsend's incredibly strong too. So I think for the most part it was a very good day, and now I think forward to the race.
Very good. Questions for Dan Wheldon?
Are all the guys in the team new to you? Any of them from your past experience?
That's a good question. I briefly worked with the engineer that's engineering my car, Todd Malloy, when I first signed for Andretti Green Racing, which it was back then. But for the most part, it's obviously a new team to me. Brian has been a teammate and a close friend, so the relationship's a little bit different now. I probably can't play as many practical jokes on him as we perhaps used to, because he's the boss. But he's, I touched on it earlier today. He is a man of his word, which is very rare these days. And I had some good opportunities for this race. There was a fair few options. And when I spoke to Brian, I said, Brian, you know how important this race is to me. It's potentially my only race that I'm going to do all year. Can you give me a fast enough race car? And he said, I'll absolutely make sure that you have one. And there's not many people out there that I would trust, but it's been phenomenal to be in his team. I think it goes to show the kind of person he is when you look at the group of people that are working for him. And just very proud to be part of it. I think in the time that I've had off, that's certainly it's made me realise how much I love motor racing. It's made me realise how much I want to be a full-time participant. And I'm just enjoying it very, very much.
We're back here.
Dan, you're sort of in the elite around here now in Indianapolis. Who in the younger drivers might you have talked to or mentored or answered questions for in, say, this month or last year?
Who would I have mentored?
Well, who might you have talked to or given advice to about how to run here?
Well, honestly, I got given an opportunity, a long time ago by Michael Andretti, and through that opportunity, it's, and even I think what my parents have instilled in me, and I think my wife and I have the same values. I'd like to help anybody that wants help, certainly the younger guys. Like I say, I was given an opportunity to move into Indy cars. I've been given many opportunities that have helped me progress through the motor racing ranks, and so for me, I'm prepared to help because I've been given that same opportunity, and I think, as somebody that's more experienced now, I'm not going to say older, but more experienced, I feel it's kind of my responsibility to give back. So that's something that I'd be very willing to do. Obviously, Brian has an Indy Lights driver that we're going to start working hard on him. He was very quick in the test, so he could probably teach me a thing or two around here. But it's one of those things where if somebody wants help and is prepared to listen and value your help, then I'm prepared to give it to anybody.
Other questions for Dan?
Dan, I asked Ed Carpenter the same question. What do you make of the fact that you look at the Fast 9, you've got no Andretti, you've got one Penske, you don't have the usual suspects, you've got some of the smaller teams. What do we read into that, if anything?
Thanks, Indianapolis. It's incredibly competitive, and it can change, and I think obviously people value Indianapolis so much that they'll put so much effort into that one particular program, into that one race, that, you know, it does kind of stir things up a little bit. And I think, you know, the big thing that you see is there's a lot of testing restrictions, and you know, with that said, you typically see only the big teams practice. Well, at Indianapolis, I think, you know, even the smaller teams get to, you know, at least have some time on track to perfect their cars. And so it makes the field incredibly close. We've been using the same car now for a little while. Obviously, Honda provide you know, very equal engines. You've got the same consistent Firestone tire. So with that said, I mean, it just gives people time. But, you know, Indianapolis, the field is always a little bit jumbled, but typically, you know, the same people end up in the front in the race, bar 2 or 3. So it'll be an interesting race. From the race running that I've done, I think it's going to be difficult to overtake. So it's truly going to be very interesting.
Other questions for Dan? Dan, your record here is just unbelievable, and we expect much the same come race day.
Thanks very much.